Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new Hangout right here on Night Owl Video. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is a dreary Saturday in January. It doesn't get more dull than this. As of the filming of this, of course, this probably won't go up till Sunday or Monday, but it is Saturday. I think I mentioned this on my previous video, but my new work schedule is allowing me to have 3 days off every weekend, which is lovely. Gotta say, I'm loving every minute of it. Loving every minute of it. And, yeah. So my new routine now is a Friday morning. I wake up, I make myself a delicious omelet with everything in it. And then I pop on a movie. The last 2 days I've watched sort of movies that I've never watched before, which I will get to momentarily. But yeah, I've just been loving it, kind of. I gotta say, I'm enjoying the quietness of the winter, as it were. I definitely mentioned that before. I left my retail job a few weeks ago, well, probably more like a month ago, and I was just down in that neighborhood where I used to work this morning, and it was just all busy and people going nuts and people driving around with F Trudeau stickers on their cars. And I was just like, oh man, I'm so happy I don't have to be in amongst all this stupidity. I do miss my friendly customers that I had great relations with, but that sounded weird. Great interactions with, yeah. But yeah, and the weather's cold and dreary and snowy, and so it's just made everything kind of quiet down, which is just beautiful for me. And then we get to wait for the reawakening of spring and the flowers coming up and the temperature changing and the days getting longer, and I always look forward to that as well. I know, like, autumn is definitely my favorite season, but I do enjoy the excitement of the spring and slowly learning to enjoy summer, but it's taken me some time. But anyway, that's all besides the point. If you're new here, this is the Hangout where I drop in every week to spend a little time with you, usually about an hour. I'll talk about music I listen to, movies I watched, thrifting pickups, and I'll talk about new releases coming out on physical media for the upcoming week. So for this week, it will be January the 20th of 2026. So we'll be doing all that, and I don't think I have anything else. I did want to mention a couple things. I did make my short list of my favorite movies of 2025, and I started to type them into a document on my computer. So I have the gears now officially turning for that project. So that will be coming soon. I also, when I was looking through some old stuff recently, I found my Blockbuster video card. Yep. From 11 Regent Street in Fredericton. Card issued 11 Regent Street. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool. Movie-related memorabilia from my past. I want to say I opened this in the year 1988 or 1989. That was when we got our first Blockbuster. And the first movie, I didn't rent it, but my friends and I rented it together. The first movie I ever rented from Blockbuster Video was none other than Princess Bride. So, and that was the first watch for me back then. I think that was 80. I want to say it was 88. Summer of 88, maybe. But I do remember so vividly. My friend lived kind of just across the street and down a bit. And I remember walking over late evening in the summer of 1988. We were wearing like t-shirts and shorts and sneakers. And it was that warm summer night, you know? I just remember those nights so far. This is before we had like the crazy humidity that we have now with global warming. But back then, they were like nice evenings, warm, but not overwhelming. And we walked over, and I remember getting that movie. My friends picked the movie out. I didn't actually know what that movie was at the time. And then not long after, I got my own Blockbuster video card. And but up until then, we had been going to the mom and pop shops, and I'm quite sure we continued to go to the mom and pop shops even after Blockbuster came along, because none of us had a car back then. So Blockbuster was kind of if I wasn't visiting that friend that lived nearby, it was kind of a trek. So anyway, if you're new here, fix yourself a nice warm beverage. I currently have some coffee with some almond milk in it, but you're welcome to have a cold beverage, warm beverage, no beverage, bag of chips, something healthier, maybe an apple sliced up. Your choice. Or you can just sit there. As I've said in previous videos, I encourage you to put me on in the background, do some things, maybe draw, do some needlepoint, clean the dishes, whatever. We're just hanging out. We're just hanging out. But anyway, this is a very long intro, so let's move on to our first subject, which is what I listened to this week. So before I get into the actual physical media, I did find another, last week I mentioned Pixel Grips, and I got on to, another, Die Spitz is another band I found through the KEXP website or the YouTube channel. And then the other day, KEXP, God bless their souls and hearts and minds, sent to the YouTube algorithm a band called Rocket, a young American independent alternative rock band called Rocket. Not a very exciting band name, but came up in my algorithm, popped it on, blew me the hell right out of my seat. It made me feel like I was 20 again. If you like some of the stuff I'm about to show you, because it inspired me to dig back in my audio archives and find other things that reminded me of this band. So much like Pixel Grips, I'll be on the hunt for Rocket, which I'll probably have to buy off Bandcamp, because imagine we won't be getting it in our local record stores. Well, yeah. So yeah, I highly recommend, if you like Smashing Pumpkins, Swerve Driver, My Bloody Valentine, trying to think what other bands they reminded me of. There was a heavy component of the first band that I listened to, and that is the band Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah, this is their first album, Gish, which came out in 1991 through Caroline Records. This is produced by Butch Vig, who of course went on to produce a bunch of other great albums and bands, and I believe he was one of the guys in the band Garbage. This is Smashing Pumpkins. This is the early iteration of Smashing Pumpkins, my favorite iteration of this band. This has the song I Am One, Siva, Rhinoceros, so many good songs on this album. I was surprised upon re-listening to this album, though, how much this album is actually quite mellow. But I Am One, and I think it might be Siva. They're not, no, I don't think it was that one, maybe. But there's only a couple songs on this album that actually really, really like rock out in a rock sense. The rest of it's very, very mellow. I kind of forgot that about this album, because I always think of I Am One as one of my favorite songs by them. And then I think, oh, this is like such a rock album. But then when you put it on, a lot of it's like very slow and thoughtful and kind of mellow and hippie-ish. And but yeah, great album. If you like their later stuff, you might not dig this stuff, but there's a dog on the inside, and apparently his name is Bug Superstar. That's very nice. That's very early 90s indie rock to have that. Yeah, this is Smashing Pumpkins before they got really, really big. I also have this one, which is from Caroline Records from the same year, and it's an EP called Lull, which I don't think is a very common CD to find. And I think I found this for like $1 at a pawn shop. This has Rhinoceros, Blue, it looks like Slunk, and By June. 4 tracks. Yeah, this is like I guess a couple, must be a couple of unreleased tracks from Rhinoceros was stolen from Gish. Blue and Slunk were recorded at the same time. Man, and then in brackets, Smart Studios. By June was a demo recorded early 1989 with the imperious Mark Ignofo at Real Time Studios, 1991. So there you go. So the band that I was mentioning a few minutes ago, Rocket, really, really reminded me of like early, a couple of their songs anyway, gave me a real early Smashing Pumpkins vibes, which then led me to listen to, or re-listen to, I should say, Siamese Dream from 1993, which for me, when I was 23, this was my jam. This was massive. And this is when they made the jump to EMI Virgin Records. And this has Cherub Rock, Today. Today is the greatest day I've ever known. And it has the song Rocket, which when they interviewed the band Rocket, they said, did you get your name from this? They said, I think they said no, but I find that kind of hard to believe. But anyway, yeah, this was also produced by Butch Vig and Billy Corgan, the lead singer and guitarist of Smashing Pumpkins. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Billy Corgan's kind of having a bit of a moment there. He seems like I see him in a lot of videos. I think he has a podcast even. I continued to like Smashing Pumpkins into that era where he was wearing the shirt with the zero on it, the word zero on it. They did that one Bullet with Butterfly Wings, I think it was called. And I actually used to have that Melancholy double album. But after that, I kind of lost track of them. I have to be, if I'm being perfectly honest, and I'm not trying to be like cool, but I kind of remember losing track of them. And then I don't know what they did after that, but it seems to me I've seen Billy Corgan in a lot of stuff recently. And then following along in the vein of Rocket, I listened to Teenage Fan Club's album 13, which came out in 1993 as well. Yeah, so it was a big year, 93. And Teenage Fan Club, this has the songs Hang On, The Cabbage, yeah, this is a great album. If you like your indie rock, your guitar, your college rock with some harmonized vocals, then this is the jam for you. But yeah, I really like Teenage Fan Club. Bandwagon-esque was their first album, which I believe was 91. That's a great album if you can get your hands on it. This one, this was the one that really hit with me. And Grand Prix is the other one. Again, another band that I kind of lost track of. I don't know if they're still going or not. My apologies to TF, but this for me, 13 was definitely like this was like the pinnacle for me of like great, well-written pop rock. I don't know, say power pop, college rock. I don't know what they call that. I guess it was alternative back then, but that then led me to listen to Sonic Youth's Dirty, which again is an old favorite of mine from 1992. Yes, this has 100%, which was almost a hit for them, I guess. Drunken Butterfly, which interestingly enough, I heard that they played some shows just as this album was coming out, played some shows at some clubs under the moniker Drunken Butterfly, and nobody knew who it was, but it was Sonic Youth. Wish Fulfillment, Youth Against Fascism, which seems poignant at this point in time. But yeah, this is Sonic Youth at the height of their rock prowess, aside from Goo, which came out before this. But this was like 100%, that song was really big for them. And I followed Sonic Youth mostly right till the very end of their career. There were a few albums that I was kind of hot and cold on, but I always really loved this one. I saw, there's the inside, also very 90s. I actually loved the the artwork that they had for their albums. Especially, what was the other one? Washing Machine. Man, if you go look at the artwork for that album, the photography, it was the first time I saw photography like that. It's very like, everything's very centered, and it's very, like, the photographs are very curated, and it's like the picture of the house and like a picture of a box being unpacked in a house. I guess it was maybe when Kim and Thurston bought their house. But I always loved the photography and the booklet of that CD. And I don't know if it's the same person doing this one, but it gives me those kind of vibes. But don't ask me why I think of that. But yeah, and I mean, I would say for the better part of most of my life, Sonic Youth was my favorite band, really. I did have some other favorites, which actually I'm about to mention another one, but Sonic Youth for me, right from the beginning of the noisy no wave kind of stuff, all the way to like the kind of almost like jam band kind of ending that they had. But yeah, if you've never listened to Sonic Youth, this might be a fun listen. This is Sonic Youth being grungy, but also a little twee-ish indie pop. There's some songs on here that are very like lo-fi, kind of like acoustic guitars and tom-toms for the percussion, and I don't know, it's a very mixed bag on there. But speaking of another favorite band of mine, Skinny Puppy, I was also listening to this actually just today because of a particular movie I'm about to mention, which got me in the mood to listen to some electronic music. And so I popped this on in the car today, and it's fantastic. This is the Singles Collect from 1999 from Network Records. This has all, Dig It, Censor, Assimilate, Tin Omen, Addictions, Deep Down Trauma Hounds, Smothered Hope, Far Too Frail. This has got all my jams. Usually the artwork on the booklets is more interesting than this one, but there's the inside. Pretty basic. Is this Vaughn Oliver that did the... I don't know if it even says on the inside here, but cover by Artworks Design. Oh, just a second. I got my... Ow. Oh, God, I shouldn't have bent my back that way. I got my cover, Artworks Design, ARTWERKS. So I thought it was always the that other guy that did them. Was it Vaughn? No. Sometimes I get them mixed up. Vaughn Oliver was the 4AD Records guy, maybe. I don't remember, but they always had really good artwork. This one's kind of bland. But yeah. Cool. If you like it, I don't even want to call it industrial, but interesting, dark electronic music from the 80s and 90s. Gosh, these guys just split up for their farewell tour. Was only about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. So I got to see them twice, as some of you guys already know. I saw them in Montreal in 1988, and I saw them in Montreal in 1990. Both shows fantastic. Yeah, but I did mention, some of you may remember this, but I did mention that Jeffrey Dahmer apparently used to stalk some of his prey at Skinny Puppy concerts. Yeah. And they said he actually crossed the border into Canada several times to, Anyway, so that is everything I listened to. But what I watched, and this morning I finally got around to watching my 4K Ultra HD copy of The Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Linda Blair and Michael Biehn. Special effects by Stan Winston, directed by James Cameron, produced by Gail Ann Hurd. And I believe those two guys teamed up to continue on with Aliens. Anyway, I watched this on 4K for the first time this morning. The picture was fantastic. The sound was fantastic. I have to say the darks in it, the black colors in it, the black tones, I should say, were very, very dark to the point where sometimes when I was watching it, it was hard to see what was going on. I actually got really nerdy this morning. So I was watching this, and if you remember at near the beginning, the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, goes to Sarah Connor's house, the second Sarah Connor, because they've looked up Sarah Connor in the phone book and they're trying to kill this particular Sarah Connor. When he goes to the Sarah Connor's house, there's a dog barking on the lawn, and I could have sworn that you got to see the dog from the Terminator's viewpoint, which was like this digital readout or whatever. I was like, did they cut that scene out? So I dug out my Blu-ray copy and I put that on, and in fact, no, he does not see the dog with his, his digital readout, which he was like possible things that he could say or whatever. But later on in the movie, there is I believe, a German Shepherd where you do see the digital readout, and basically telling the Terminator like the dog is not a threat. But when I was watching this, I was like, oh my God, did they edit that out? I can't believe they edited that out. But no, in fact, they did not. So that's how nerdy I was about this movie. This is one of my favorite movies. I guess I just remembered it wrong. My brain is getting older. This has lots of special features on it, though. I just picked this up before Christmas. This has creating the Terminator visual effects and music, the Terminator closer to the real thing, Unstoppable Force, the legacy of the Terminator, and 7 deleted scenes. So I did watch the movie this morning, but I did not watch the special features, but I do want to go and check those out. The other things I watched this week, wow, guys, for the first time in my life, I bought this movie, I think, almost 4 years ago. I want to say 2022, I think it was 2022. This is a movie called Marriage Story with Scarlett Johansson and that other guy, which I'm forgetting his name, Adam Driver. This also stars Laura Dern, Alan Alda, Ray Liotta, Julie Haggerty, Merritt Weaver. This is directed by Noah Baumbach, who also did the Squid and the Whale, which is another one of my favorite movies. Coincidentally, also a movie about divorce. This film is this is the Criterion version, which I got at this really weird corner store that still was renting movies in 2022. But they had like a deal where you get like 3 DVDs for $20 or something. And this is one of the ones that I bought. And it's really nice. This is the Criterion. It's a 2-disc set. Anyway, I've been putting off watching this movie for a long time, and I finally put it on the other day, and my people, my viewers, I was absolutely gutted by this movie. This is a movie about Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver, who are a married couple with a young child, and they are divorcing. And baby, it's not pretty. But damn if it isn't, if this film isn't effective and heart-wrenching and beautiful and everything all at the same time. There's the inside of the booklet. Yeah, this movie is... this is a heavy movie. I mean, anybody who's been through divorce knows that this is... it's really hard. And especially on kids, it's never fun. And as a child of divorce, this was a hard watch, guys. This was a hard watch, but oh so perfectly executed. And Noah Baumbach, again, like I said, he did Squid and the Whale. He's been involved in a lot of stuff. I could probably just look it up quickly, but he is so good at... Now, if you've never seen Squid and the Whale, that's Laura Linney and Jeff Daniels breaking up. And it's also like very heart-wrenching. And let's see if I can find him here. And I know he's had some crossover with Wes Anderson as well, but the movies listed for him are something called Jay Kelly, which came out last year. Don't know about that one. But yeah, Marriage Story, Frances Ha, which is a really sweet drama. Greenberg, which is another one I actually absolutely love with Ben Stiller. Oh, it's not going to let me. Sorry, guys. I should have looked this up before I. I know he was involved with Wes Anderson, and I know he did like. Where's the? I can't find the thing, but anyway, suffice to say, he's done a lot of really, really beautiful movies. He was also involved with the Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, with Wes Anderson, Barbie, which I believe I want to say he wrote the movie Barbie. I don't think he directed it, but Fantastic Mr. Fox he was involved with. Yeah, but for me, like Squid and the Whale and this one, Marriage Story, fantastic, really, really powerful. And I gotta say, like Scarlett Johansson was really good in this movie, but to me, Adam Driver was unbelievably good in this movie. When I was watching this, I think to myself, well, I saw him in the series Girls, and I thought he was really good. And then, of course, he made the leap to the Star Wars universe, which I think is what most people think of him from. But to me, and I remember watching Red Letter Media talking about Adam Driver, and they were saying like, yeah, he does the Star Wars movies so that he can he can then go and do these independent dramas about divorce directed by Noah Baumbach. And yeah, this is great. There's a lot of special features on here, some of which I did actually sit down and watch. There's an interview with Noah Baumbach. There's interviews with Scarlett Johansson, Adam Driver, Laura Dern, Alan Alda, Ray Liotta. So this must have been near Ray Liotta's one of his last acting credits. Rest in peace. There's the making of Marriage Story. But yeah, if you really like powerful dramas, like raw, kind of nervy, but beautiful, sensational, wow. I wasn't sure what I was going to think about it, but yeah, it was amazing. And then the other one I watched on physical disc was Brian De Palma's Sisters with Margot Kidder. The film is from 1973. This is the Criterion from the year 2000. So this is, I had watched this a couple years ago. I actually found this on VHS several years ago, like back during the pandemic. And I'm just doing that because I don't want to get like apparently you can't say certain things on YouTube. I haven't been sent a message to say you can't say things, but this is a Brian De Palma film, one of his early films, if probably maybe one of his first few. This is I watched it several years ago on VHS. I liked it, but I did get rid of the VHS, and then I found this last summer at a store called Select Sounds in Bedford, Nova Scotia. Shout out to them. And I really didn't remember this movie, so like I said, putting this on this morning, it was like kind of a first watch for me because I really didn't remember anything about it. All I remembered was like, yeah, I kind of liked it. The most genuinely frightening film since Hitchcock's Psycho, says Hollywood Reporter. That's from the movie poster. So yeah, this is like this is an homage. This is definitely an homage to Alfred Hitchcock. Of course, beautiful packaging as always from Criterion. This has a young Margot Kidder in it. Did you hear that little crinkle? That was the mouse on the wall again. I guess he likes to say hi on these videos. Yeah, there's an essay by Brian De Palma in here, which is an essay that originally appeared in the October 11th, 1973 issue of The Village Voice. Nice. Which the essay is called Murder by Moog, Scoring the Chill. Yeah, nice packaging as always. This has a 1973 print interview with De Palma on the making of Sisters. Rare study of also a rare study of Siamese twins in Soviet, the 1966 Life magazine article that inspired De Palma. The special features on this are all those like toggle, so you use your DVD remote to toggle to screens, and it's just text to read. So not a lot on here as far as like visual documentaries, but there is some extra information. I read some of it. I have to admit I didn't read all of it. I'm not sure if I'm going to hold on to this. If I can get a couple bucks out of this, I may try to sell it or trade it for credit. It's a good movie. It's very early 70s vibes, obviously, because it was made then, but I do love movies that are set in the 70s, especially movies that were actually made in the 70s. I love looking at the architecture of buildings and the furnishings and the decor and the fashion and the hair and everything. I love, because I grew up in the 70s. So in that sense, I was really, really sucked into this movie. It is a very straightforward kind of Hitchcock homage. And then at some point near a little past the halfway mark, it gets really almost surreal. And you see dreams that Margot Kidder is having, or sorry, the other person, Jennifer Salt. You see her dreams, and they're shot with that framing around the screen where it's the circle, like an old lens, and it's black and white, and it's really eerie. It almost gets a little surreal at some points, without giving away the ending. But yeah, a cool movie. I'm not sure if it's one that I will rewatch again, but I'll take some time to consider it before I consider moving this along to another film fan. The other things I watched on streaming, I watched Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. I have to say, probably my favorite movie of 2025, though I have not done my official ranking, but I was really skeptical about Spinal Tap 2. I thought there's no way 40 years later that they can do a good sequel to a fantastic comedy from the early 80s, but I actually thought it was very sweet. And it's bittersweet, of course, with Rob Reiner's death, but it was surprisingly sweet and surprisingly very, very funny. I wouldn't say it was as hilarious as the original installment from 1984, but it did have some really, really funny stuff in it. And I'll do a deeper dive on it when I do my top 25, or sorry, my top movies of 2025, I should say. But I thought it was really sweet. If you love Spinal Tap as much as I do, and you want to see them come back, and it's just sort of a sweet footnote on Spinal Tap. Who's to say if they're going to do another one? Probably not, now that Rob Reiner has passed away. But I thought it was a really sweet movie. I found myself feeling sad because it is kind of the end of that thing, and but also because of Rob Reiner. But then seeing these guys come back with now all gray hair and a little bit of changes in their looks, getting older, but still having that little bit of quirky humor, I thought it was really, really wonderful. I've also watched Blackcoat's Daughter, which is a early film from Osgood Perkins, who is, I just learned, I'm going to sound really out of step, but I just learned that that's Anthony Perkins' child or son that did this movie. I'm going to talk about The Monkey in my top movies of 2025, but he also did that. He also did another movie last year, which I have not seen yet, which I'm temporarily forgetting the title of. But he also did Long Legs. I like his movies. I started to watch Black Coat's Daughter a few years ago, and it was immediately uninterested in watching it, and I turned it off. Do you ever just sort of wake up and you make some coffee and then you just think about some movie, some random movie, and you go, I'm going to watch that. And then you pop it on and then maybe you're surprised by it? That was the situation for me. I don't know why I was thinking about it. I guess because was watching or thinking about The Monkey, and I was thinking about Long Legs because it was mentioned again in a few things I watched. Other movie reviewers talked about it. And it got me thinking, and I was like, what other movies did Osgood Perkins do? And that one came up, and I was like, oh yeah, that was a movie I skipped out on. I rewatched it. I thought it was really good, actually. I quite enjoyed it. It's not for if you're not in the mood for a really slow burn kind of psychological horror. It's probably not going to be your jam. If you're looking for just like jump scares and creatures and whatever, this is more of a slow-paced psychological horror thriller. But I thought it was really good. May end up revisiting that movie down the road, but I really enjoyed that one. And then away from that, I've been binge watching a lot of Star Trek The Next Generation because on the Pluto TV service, which I'm not sponsored by in any way, but excuse me, they have a bunch of Star Trek channels that just play episodes 24 hours a day. I found the TNG channel. For some reason, I got sucked into it one night. I must have been bored, and I've been watching Star Trek Next Generation every night. Been watching several episodes and really enjoying revisiting that series. And then I also watched the newest season of Mysteries Unearthed with Danny Trejo, and that is a show where they go and they look at literally what the title of the show is. It's Unearthing Mysteries from the Past, and Danny Trejo, of course, is Machete. You may know that guy. Cool actor. He's been in a lot of stuff, but I always think of him as Machete. Yeah, it's a cool show. It's like if you like shows about like history or like unearthing weird mysteries and things like that, it's really quite a fascinating series. And each episode is like 4 or 5 mysteries unearthed. So for every 40 or 50 minute episode, there's all these different mysteries. So it appeals to my attention span, which is each mystery gets about a 7 or 8 minute segment in the show, and lots of really cool things, so if you like that kind of stuff. There was one about the little kid who discovered King Tut's tomb, which was just a fluke that they found it. They were not digging in the area where King Tut's tomb was. Whether you agree or disagree, back in the 30s and 40s when they were, British explorers, I think for the most part, were ripping up the pyramids and stuff. Not so cool. I mean, it did provide us with insight into the early Egyptian culture, but I'm not so keen on them unearthing tombs. And they said, I think if I'm not mistaken, that they actually had to like pull King Tut's tomb or corpse out of the sarcophagus, like piece by piece, because it was so just over time, it's so stuck in there. I thought they said on the show they actually had to like remove his limbs and stuff, and I'm thinking that is so awful. That is just so awful. I hate that stuff, but I do love the Egyptian art and the jewels and all that stuff. It is very beautiful, but maybe we weren't meant to see it. And then there was another segment where a guy found the original Death Star from Star Wars from 1977, and it was being used as a waste can in a country western bar. And that was closing down. The guy saw it and he said, that looks like a thing I know. And of course took it home, and it did in fact turn out to be an original prop from the first Star Wars movie. So if you like little mysteries like that, things explained how things happened, then you might dig that. So that brings me to my this week's pickups. So I didn't find anything crazy exciting. Let's start with the worst first. I did pick up the movie Warcraft. I know. It's probably awful, but I did find it for cheap and decided to grab it and check it out. Just because I've been in my D&D and fantasy mode, and I saw that. I've passed on that movie several times because I think I heard it was really bad. I don't know. I don't think this has any connection to Warhammer, but it's some kind of fantasy movie. Good versus evil, whatever. Then I grabbed, this is pissing me off because the inside of the case, the thing that holds the disc in is broken, but I found this Terrahawks DVD. This is the Jerry Anderson series. This was put out by A&E channel. This is volume 4, filmed in Super Macromation. Yeah, so decided to pick that up. I've seen this at this thrift store for a long time and just never pulled the trigger, but I had some credit from previous visits and I decided to grab it. It was only $4, so figure why not. I've never watched Terrahawks, but I've seen some images from it. I generally like Jerry Anderson stuff, so, but you can see the spindle thing is broken, so very irritating. I'll have to switch that to a case of a movie that I don't like. And then on the streaming tip, I did find a season of Star Trek The Next Generation. This is season 7. I decided to grab this for my collection. And just in case, I don't know, maybe down the road I won't have internet or something, at least I can watch some. This is also broken. Yeah. The packaging on TV series is just the worst. Anybody else annoyed by the packaging on these things? Yeah, I can't even close it now. Quite silly the way they've designed these things, but wow, quite intricate though. But yeah, I grew up. I don't want to say grew up, but well, I guess kind of in a way. My dad was a big fan of the original Star Trek series, and when this came on in 1987, I remember watching the first episode with my dad, and I was like, who is this bald guy, and what is going on? And I just could not get into it. But years later, probably 91, 92, I did start to watch reruns of this, and I got really into it. So, yeah, it's a comfort. It's like a comfort thing for me. Yeah, actually, but if I'm being totally honest, my favorite series was actually the Voyager. And then today I went to a retro flea market, which usually the prices are unbelievable. I did find a music stand in the retro flea market, so I decided to pull the trigger on a few CDs, which I paid a bit more for than maybe I would usually, but I got Can, the singles. This was put out in 2017 via Mute Records. A early krautrock band. There's the track listing, which looks pretty impressive actually. I've only dabbled in this stuff. I don't really know a lot about it, but it does have a booklet inside with some cool artwork. Ooh, that kind of like messes with your eyes a little bit. Yeah, like that. So I paid 12 Canadian dollars for this CD, but I think it was worth it. I haven't listened to it yet, to be honest, but I do like what I've heard of Can, and this seems like, well, it's a singles collection, so I think I did look on the inside booklet. It starts like with the early stuff, and then it goes, I think it's like a retrospective kind of thing, so so it starts in 1969 and it goes all the way into the late 70s with one track from 1990 for some reason. So anyway, I'll check that out at some point. Good find. I'm sorry to the people who had the stand. I know they have a website, but I did not remember it. Anyway, that was my first CD pickup. I also, from those folks, grabbed Motorhead Ace of Spades, which is one I didn't have in my collection. I have the first album, and I have like a greatest hits 2-disc set, and I have what's the other one I have? Oh, the live Everything Louder Than Everything Else, or whatever that one's called. But I didn't have this one. This also is a bonus track, Dirty Love, which says on the front includes rare bonus track. So I paid $15 for this one. This is a Roadrunner edition, which is actually through the BMG Music Club for all my Canadian friends. I believe that was a Canadian thing. This is from 1980. And the person who I bought this from said that actually this CD actually sounds fantastic. I just want to see on the inside. I don't know if somebody's written the word orb in the middle in really tiny letters. I don't know why. But yeah, didn't have this in my collection, so decided to grab it. Don't really see these around for a relatively good price. I guess $15 might be a little steep, but I do love Motorhead, especially the early stuff. So decided to add that to my collection. And then the last thing I got, which is one I had on vinyl, I bought on vinyl last year. Actually, I think as late as last summer, but I did pick up Crosby, Stills, Nash, the debut self-titled album from 19... Does that say 77? I don't know. But I did buy this on vinyl because I really do love this album. But as you know, I got rid of my vinyl last year and did kind of miss having this one to listen to. In fact, it was, I think, either yesterday or today that I got thinking about this album in particular and was like, oh, I wish I could kind of listen to that without having to watch it on YouTube. But it says near mint and it was $10, so decided to add that to my collection. So yeah, so those are my pickups for this week. I hope everyone's enjoying the video so far. Yeah. What else did I want to say on here? I'm trying to find my notes. So we covered all that. So yeah, so upcoming releases. So now I use Blu-ray.com for my listings for the upcoming week. So if these are wrong, it is not my fault. This is just based on what I'm reading off the internet, just like any of y'all could go check out. So for January, so again, I can't guarantee that these are all going to be on your movie shelves, but things that are allegedly being released this coming Tuesday, January the 20th, One Battle After Another, which is a movie, again, I have not watched yet, but it is on streaming, I think on Crave in Canada, so I do want to check that out. But that is officially being released January 20th on 4K and Blu-ray. Wicked for Good is coming out on 4K and Blu-ray as well. Looks like One Battle After Another is also getting a 4K steelbook. We have Jean-Claude Van Damme's Lionheart coming out on 4K. We have John Huston's The Dead coming out on 4K, a movie I am not familiar with. But also on Criterion, Captain Blood, starring Errol Flynn. Is that what that says? Yeah, 4K from 1935. For some reason, Snakes on a Plane 4K is listed here again, but I thought I mentioned that one a few weeks ago, but I don't know. Trick or Treat, Trick or Treat is coming out on 4K from the year 2007. There's a lot this week, actually, a lot of catalog titles. Al Pacino in Cruising is coming out on 4K from Arrow Video. Shine, the movie Shine is coming out on 4K. Let's see, Keeper, that was the other Osgood Perkins movie. So I've heard really not good things about that movie, but I am curious about it, so might be one I'll grab. I'm not sure yet. Jean-Claude Van Damme is also coming out on 4K with Knockoff from 1998. You could also get a 2-disc feature of Wicked and Wicked for Good on Blu-ray. Something called Caught by the Tides. Screamboat, which is the Mickey Mouse. Now that Mickey Mouse is public domain, this is, instead of Steamboat Willie, it's called Screamboat. This is a horror movie with Mickey Mouse in it, coming out on 4K Steelbook. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, it must be a Jean-Claude Van Damme week, because we're also getting Knockoff from 1998. That's from MVD. I guess these are all MVD, so MVD must have gotten the license for these Van Damme movies. Torso is coming out on 4K from 1973. We have something called Frightmare from 1983 coming out on something. Doctor Who Tom Baker 1975-76 season is coming out on Blu-ray. Anything else I recognize here? There's a lot of stuff coming out. Springsteen Deliver Me from Nowhere is coming out on Blu-ray. Evil Under the Sun is coming out on 4K from 1982. Let's see, Death on the Nile from 1978 is getting the 4K treatment. Dummy from 2025 is coming out on physical media. And I guess that's about it. There's a few others there that I don't recognize. There's a few like real low budget kind of looking ones, like The Creepy Janitor from 2012, which looks real bad. But there's also some anime coming out and stuff like that. But for the most part, that's what's coming out this week on physical media. Let me know if you're excited about any of that stuff. Like I said, I might be interested in that Keeper movie, though I don't think it got very good reviews. This is coming out on Blu-ray, I assume on 4K as well, I'm not sure. This stars Rosif Sutherland, Tatiana Maslany, and a bunch of people. I don't know any of these people. Decal Releasing is putting that one out, so we'll see. We'll see what the deal is with that. I might wait for it for streaming to see if I like it, and then if I like it, I'll grab the disc at some point. But yeah, so guys, that's it for today. I believe that is pretty much all I had to share with you. Coming up on almost an hour, but I hope you liked this video. Let me know in the comments below anything that I watched or listened to, or any of these new upcoming physical media releases, anything that interests you. Let me know anything that you've picked up recently, or anything you've seen in the movie theater. I have a gift card from Christmas for the movie theater, but I'm still waiting for something that I want to watch come along to go and redeem said gift card. But there doesn't seem like there's a lot I actually want to see coming out anytime soon. I don't know. I did really want to see The Lord of the Rings on the big screen, but they're only playing in a theater which is an hour away from me, and the movie starts at like 6 o'clock at night, which means I would have to be driving home in the dark, and that's just not going to happen. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to miss those theatrical re-releases of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is a bit of a bummer for me, but whatever. Yeah, so that's it. I hope everyone is doing well out there, enjoying the new year so far. We're a little over halfway through January now, so the dreary months are passing, and like I said, we'll wait for the excitement of spring when you get those nice warm temperatures and longer days. And then for me, I also have a gift certificate for the bike repair shop So I'll be going to get my bike tuned up. Last year I did it at the end of February, which I think was a bit early, but I did get in under the, the craziness of the tune-up season, which I guess would happen more like in April and May and stuff like that. So probably do that again this year, maybe early March this year. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, let me know what you watched, what you listened to, anything you're excited for, upcoming in the movie theater. Yeah, like I said, I don't know of anything coming out that I'm really, really excited about. I did see that Robert Eggers is doing a werewolf movie, which apparently comes out next December, but hopefully there will be something else before then. But that got me kind of like excited because I like Nosferatu. It wasn't one of my all-time favorites, but I thought it was quite competently done and very atmospheric. So I'm hoping maybe his take on a werewolf story will be good too, but we'll see. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much if you made it this far. If you like this video, consider giving me the thumbs up. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing to my channel. It's free, and I do these Hangout videos generally once a week. And I will be having, like I said, my best of 2025 coming up hopefully in the coming week is my goal. It may replace the Hangout for next week if that goes ahead as planned. So we'll see though. But I will definitely be back in some capacity next week for another video. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, you know the drill. I'll see you at the video store or at the thrift store or just out and about somewhere. But until next time, take very good care of yourselves, your friends, your family, your community. If you need help with your mental health, reach out to experts. There are people that can help you. So do that if you need it. Yeah. Okay? Tops. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.